Tannannadinam 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 tannane tannannadinam tannane tannannadinam 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 tannane tannannadinam tannane. Once upon a time, just once upon a time, not twice, not thrice, just once upon a time, there was a young woman and she'd just gotten married. So she was in her honeymoon phase with her partner. Now, the couple lived in India and they were full of love. Now, the young woman, when she was a little girl, she had been gifted a story and a song by her grandmother, just like me or you would have been gifted a story or a song while we were younger. But as the young girl got older and older and older, she stopped singing the song and she forgot to tell the words of the story. Now, story and song were buried deep, deep, deep inside her, and they were dying to come out. And so one day they hatched a plan. And one afternoon, while the young girl was having her afternoon snooze, story and song decided that they were going to escape into the world. How would they do that, you might ask? But as it happens in some stories, story and song got ready. And on the next breath, as she was taking a little snore, they came into the world, and story and song turned themselves into a coat and a pair of shoes. And they hung themselves behind the door and stacked themselves nicely beside the door. That evening, the husband came home. He opened the door and came inside, and he saw a pair of shoes that he had never seen before. And behind the door, he saw a coat, a man's coat. He called his wife and he said, "Whose shoes are these? Whose coat is this?" The young woman did not know. And so she said, I do not know. And for the first time since they had gotten married, the young man and his wife, they started fighting. They started fighting and they started talking over each other, one over the other, and it started getting so big and so loud, and bang! He shut the door and left the house. The young man went down the street, up the street, turned the corner until he reached the temple of the monkey god. He sat down and he sighed. What do I do? He did not know what to do. But as it happens in some stories, something strange happened. He rubbed his eyes and he looked. What was that? And he looked again. What's that? He looked out for it one more time. There was a tiny little flame. He could not wait to find out what this was about. And so he picked himself up and he followed the flame. And around the corner, he poked his head and he looked. And there it was. He had never seen something like this in his entire life. In a circle, all the flames, all the tiny little flames that burnt brightly in each person's home in the village. In the evening, after they had gone to bed, the flames would gather in the monkey god's temple and they would tell each other stories, just like storytellers around a fire. And he sat and he watched and he didn't understand what was happening. And that's when he noticed a tiny little flame. You won't believe what happened. The young man and the young woman fought, and as the little flame narrated the story of what was happening in his very own home, the young man heard the truth. And he listened and he sighed. Thank God that's what happened. And he went home quickly and he apologized to his wife, for now he knew what was true. And he said, "Dear wife, now tell me, do you remember the story?" And she shook her head. "No." "Oh, but surely you must remember the song at least." And she shook her head. "No." For story and song had disappeared for good from her. And so, if you have a story or you have a song, make sure you sing it. Make sure you tell it. For the stories that we tell and the songs that we sing will take us to places all around the world, just like it's taken me here to tell you this story today. Thank you.